Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Are you listening me? Please tell me about my voice quality. Is it clear? Okay, how are you? Well, I hope you all are well. And today we are going to discuss another important central nervous system disorder. First, you look at this picture and tell me what it shows. You can write it down in the chat box. Okay? What these pictures shows? Mood. Okay. Depression. Okay. What else? What else? Hiding of feelings. You can say sadness, emotions. Yes. Okay. You are talking about the above two pictures. These two pictures. You know? These two pictures. But what about these? Do you have any idea about these? What these pictures are showing? Okay. All of you are correct. These pictures shows the mood, different types of mood. First, above two pictures shows the depression, sad feelings. One woman is crying, and the last or the these two pictures shows the different mood. These shows the different mood. One face shows the sadness, one face shows the good mood. So above two pictures are the depression, and lower two pictures are showing the bipolar disorders or swing of moods. Both of these disorder is comes under the heading of affective disorders. They are called affective disorders or mood disorders. We have two main types of mood disorders.
मैम वो नमाज वगैरह पढ़नी होती है।
आइए इसका
नहीं
ऑफ कर
मैम,
दें,
दिमाग बहुत तेज है।
अनम्यूट कर दें इसको,
अच्छा मैम।
सॉरी म्यूट कर दें स्टूडेंट्स को। ये किसकी आवाजें आ रही हैं? Okay, so affective disorders mainly have two disorders, generalized and major mental disorders, major depressive disorders and bipolar disorders. In major depressive disorders, patient have a same mood. Patient feel intense feeling of sadness, hopelessness, despair. Patient have a disturbance in the sleep and appetite and have thoughts of suicide. While in the lower two pictures that shows the bipolar disorders, in bipolar disorders, patient have a mood swing and there is a recurrent fluctuation in the mood, energy, and the emotions. Sometimes patient feel sadness, depression. Sometimes patient feel happy and has increased energy and increased work performance. Major depressive disorder is very common disorders in our society as well as in other part of the world, while bipolar disorder is relatively less common than the major depression. Okay, bipolar disorder is relatively less common than the depression. Depression, as I told you, that it is very common in our society as well as in other part of the world. It affects 350 million people worldwide. How many people? It affects almost or 350 million people worldwide, and it is more common in the underdeveloped countries, especially in our country. I think if we calculate the prevalence in our country, it is much more than this. Every third to 4% in our society is suffering from depression, different types of depression. Sometimes because of the loss of job, sometimes because of the environmental factors, sometimes because of the some other reasons. So depression is very common in our society, and it's common in all age groups. It can occur in the children, it can occur in the adults, it can occur in the older age because of different reasons. And sometimes it is internal because of no reason and because of the disturbance in the neurotransmitters. Okay, depression can affect the normal daily life of a person. It can disturb the personal life, it can disturb the family life, it can disturb the social life of a person or the work performance. Depression is sometimes associated with various cardiovascular disorders like coronary artery disease, stroke, and some other disorders. And depression reduces the or decreases the prognosis of these diseases. And sometimes depressed patient may present with the chronic pain or some GI symptoms. Sometimes patient present with the pain that is not subside by taking the normal NSAIDs, normal painkiller that is used to reduce the pain. And sometimes patient may present with the GI symptoms, diarrhea, constipation, etc. Depression can occur, as I told you, can occur in all ages, but the symptoms of depression can be different in different age groups. In the adults usually shows the depressed mood, intense feeling of sadness, hopelessness, despair, thoughts of worthlessness, guilt, and as I told you that the disturbance in the appetite and sleep, thoughts of suicides. So these are the normal symptoms of depression and usually occur in the adults. But children present differently. Usually children shows the angerness. If they have a depression, then they shows the angerness, they show the loss of interest in the study, they are showing the loss of interest in the school, in the work performance. So children shows differently if they have a depression. Depression is, according to one research, depression is very, very common in the students, especially in the medical students, as compared to the other fields. And according to one meta-analysis, that depression, 1/3 of the medical students, including dental students or the MBBS students, 1/3 of the student is suffering from depression. Reason may be because the increased workload, increased number of assessments, mismanagement in the time. So there may be different reasons, but it is common in a medical student, and especially in the initial year of the study, initial years, in first year, second year, third year. Till the final year, the depression will be reduced because the student may cope with the stressful medical life. So now we will discuss the learning objective of today's lecture. This is the introduction about the depression. Number one is you should know at the end the classification of antidepressants. You can describe their mechanism of action, characteristics, clinical uses, adverse effect, toxicity, potential drug interactions, and you should be able to explain serotonin syndrome. So all these are the learning objective of depression. Depression is the problem of everyone's life, and normally everyone feels depression in any stage of the life because of various reasons, because of failure in the exam, because of loss of job, because of loss of some loved one, a relative, close friend, etc. But usually these depressions subside within 2 weeks. It is subside during 2 weeks, because depression is a normal mechanism or normal response of our body to the painful stimuli, painful psychological pain. Okay? Sometimes the patient having a chronic illness may develop depression, like patient may have a coronary artery disease, asthma, cancer, or chronic illness. Then a patient may develop depression. So depression can be normal if it is it occurs in, it is subside within 2 weeks of their symptoms. But if the symptoms prolong, if the symptoms occur more than 2 weeks, then we said major depressive disorders, and that type of depression is required treatment. Otherwise, depression normally depression do not need any treatment. So now the comprehensive, this is a comprehensive definition of depression. Depression is characterized by depressed mood most of the time for at least 2 weeks. Concentrate on this line, for more than 2 weeks, or loss of interest or pleasure in the usual activities. It is also characterized by disturbance in sleep and appetite, as well as deficit in cognition and energy. Thoughts of guilt, worthlessness, and suicide are common. You may have seen various people around you that shows these symptoms कि जी मुझसे तो कोई काम ठीक नहीं होता, मैं ये भी काम ठीक नहीं कर सकता, और जो है वो मैं यूजलेस हूँ इस दुनिया के लिए, और इस टाइप की चीजें बातें आपने बहुत सारे लोगों से सुनी होंगी. So these are the symptoms of depression, and the role of the family, friends, family, or the people around you is very important for depressed patient. Depression is usually not diagnosed by any investigation. Usually, depression is usually diagnosed on the basis of the finding that is reported by the patient or by the family, patient's family, or the patient's friend. The patient is suffering from these symptoms, and is talking about worthlessness and guilt and suicide. So there is no test for depression. Depression may occur because of some hormonal disturbance. In that case, patient may have some finding on the hormonal level, but otherwise depression has no any specific test. Causes of depression. Depression can run in families. If it is present in your family, then there is a chances to transmit in other family, in the next generation. Okay. Certain life events can cause depression, like childbirth, menopause, chronic illness, job problem, relationship problem. After a childbirth, females may develop depression that is known as postpartum depression. That is postpartum depression. After menopause, females may also develop depression, and that is called postmenopausal depression. As I told you that the chronic illnesses can cause depression in a patient. कि जी मुझे ही ये बीमारी हुई है और मैं ठीक नहीं हो सकता, या जो भी है इंसान हिम्मत हार रहता है, तो क्रॉनिक इलनेस के बाद भी डिप्रेशन कॉमन होता है. जॉब प्रॉब्लम, अब किसी की जॉब चली गई है, जो आजकल आप देख रहे हो कोरोना की इस सिचुएशन में बहुत सारे लोगों की जॉब खत्म हो गई है, बहुत सारे लोगों को जॉब में प्रॉब्लम आ गई है, निकाल दिया गया है. So psychological illnesses, the ratio of psychological illnesses nowadays is more than the past. ठीक है, बिकॉज सब बहुत सारे लोगों को जॉब के प्रॉब्लम है, बहुत सारे लोग अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाते, डेली बेसिस पे काम करते हैं. सो दे मे कॉज डिप्रेशन. रिलेशनशिप ट्रबल, सेपरेशन बिटवीन द पेरेंट्स, और death of any beloved one. So these events may cause depression. Then certain drugs are also responsible for causing depression. And the most importantly, beta blockers. Beta blockers, do you know? Propranolol and etc. Rezapine, I think, do you know what is rezapine? We have discussed in the ANS, in adrenergic system. Rezapine is the drug that is that inhibit the storage of dopamine into the synaptic vesicle. This is the drug that inhibits the storage of dopamine into the synaptic vesicle and causes the depletion of the norepinephrine. So rezapine can also cause depression. Last one is the drugs for hepatitis C. In hepatitis C, we are using interferon alpha. Interferon alpha was a major drug that was used for the treatment of hepatitis C, and the use of interferon alpha can cause depression. So these are the examples of few drugs that can cause depression. Now we come to the pathophysiology of depression, that is very complex. Pathophysiology of depression is very complex, and we have certain theories in the favor of pathophysiology of depression. The pathophysiology is not fully understood. So we have certain theories that may interlink, like monoamine hypothesis or monoamine theory. According to this theory, depression occur because of the deficiency of monoamine. Monoamines क्या होते हैं? Monoamines are the serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. ठीक है, कौन से हैं? Norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine. These are the monoamines. And according to this hypothesis, depression occur because of the deficiency of these monoamines. And this hypothesis is supported by the antidepressant drugs. All antidepressant drugs acutely increases the level of monoamines in the brain. All antidepressants क्या करते हैं? They increases the level of monoamines in acutely. कि जैसे ही वो ड्रग देंगे वो मोनोमीन्स का लेवल इंक्रीज कर देंगे. दिस इज द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ दिस मोनोअमीन हाइपोथेसिस. बट द वीकनेस ऑफ दिस हाइपोथेसिस इज कि despite of increasing the concentration of monoamine acutely, कि फौरन ही उसकी इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, the symptom of depression require 2 or more weeks to disappear. कि जब हम एंटी डिप्रेसेंट स्टार्ट करते हैं तो उसके सिम्टम्स सबसाइड होते हैं आफ्टर 2 वीक्स के बाद, 2 वीक्स और समटाइम इन पेशेंट्स एंड सम पेशेंट्स मोर देन 2 वीक्स. सो दिस इज द वीकनेस कि एक्यूटली इंक्रीज कर देता है तो एकदम उसके सिम्टम्स क्यों डिसअपियर नहीं होते. सेकंड monoamine hypothesis was the older theory. The newer or most important theories are the neurotropic hypothesis and neuroendocrine factor. Neurotropic hypothesis and neuroendocrine factor. And this hypothesis is very, very important. And lots of work has been done on this hypothesis, neurotropic hypothesis. According to this hypothesis, the depression occurred because of the deficiency of BDNF. You have seen this factor, BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. Brain-derived neurotropic factor. This factor is essential for the normal neuronal plasticity, resilience, and neurogenesis. Nerve growth, उनकी health के लिए ये factor जरूरी है. Brain-derived neurotropic factor. And various researches shows the deficiency of BDNF is associated with depression. And all antidepressant drugs with chronic use or for more than 2 weeks use increases the synthesis of this factor. Increases the synthesis of this BDNF. All antidepressants chronically, कि जब हम इसको prolonged period के लिए use करते हैं तो they increases the level of BDNF. Deficiency of BDNF, decreased level of BDNF act on the hippocampus and causes the atrophic changes in the hippocampus. Atrophic changes. There are certain areas in our brain that play a very important role in the emotions or in the memory, but and hippocampus is one of them. So deficiency of BDNF causes the atrophic changes in the hippocampus and decreases its function and ultimately reduces the mood or causes depression. While antidepressant therapy or the drugs that is used for the depression increases the level of BDNF, and increases the performance of hippocampus, and may improve the mood, okay. So neurotropic hypothesis accordingly, the deficiency of BDNF, that is brain-derived neurotropic factor, is associated with depression. Okay, and it causes the atrophic changes in the hippocampus. The third one is the neuroendocrine factor. Neuroendocrine factors, deficiency of various or imbalance of various hormones in our body may play an important role in depression, like overactivity of cortisol, increased level of cortisol, the hormone that is released from the, कहाँ से release होता है ये? Adrenal cortex, ठीक है? The cortisol, and cortisol is increased in stress. Cortisol level will be increased in stress. अगर कोई tension होता है, stress होता है तो क्या होता है? Body cortisol का level बढ़ा देती है. And this cortisol decreases the synthesis of BDNF. BDNF का synthesis को decrease करता है, hippocampus के function को कम करता है और decrease करता है mood को या depression करता है. So increased cortisol level may also related with decreased mood. While other like thyroid hormones, deficiency of thyroid hormone may be associated with depression, or certain patient of hypothyroidism may have a symptoms of depression. Similarly, some other hormones like the sex hormone, the deficiency of sex hormone in female can cause depression. especially after the childbirth, as I told you, and after menopause. Okay, because of the deficiency of estrogen in the female may cause depression. Similarly, the deficiency of testosterone in male is also responsible for depression. According to new research, glutamate. Are you familiar with glutamate? Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter, and increased activity of glutamate is also associated with depression. And now various researches are being conducted on the glutamate and the drugs that block the glutamate function for the treatment of depression. Clear? So all these hypotheses are interrelated. All these hypotheses are interrelated. Monoamines, all drugs increases the level of monoamines, but acutely monoamines will not produce any any uh, decrease in the symptoms, while the neurotropic hypothesis, chronic use of antidepressant increases the level of BDNF, synthesis of BDNF, and decrease the improve the mood. Neuroendocrine factors, cortisol decreases the level of BDNF. So all these are the interrelated. So this is the just for the introduction, pathophysiology of depression. There is no need to go in the detail of this pathophysiology. Just you have to remember the 2 or 3 hypotheses. If you can see here, this is a BDNF. BDNF synthesis increased by, this is the serotonin and this is the norepinephrine. An increased level of serotonin and norepinephrine ultimately increases the level of BDNF. Okay. 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 Now we come to the antidepressant drugs. As you know, depression is not only treated by drugs. Depressed patient need psychotherapy as well. Depressed patient need psychotherapy plus drugs. And the role of family members, the role of friends, the role of the people surrounding the depressed patient is very important. Because depressed patient समझ लें कि वो अपने senses में नहीं होता और it needs your help, ठीक है, to come out from this depression. Mild depression can be treated by only psychotherapy. ठीक है, psychologist होते हैं और psychiatrist होते हैं. आपने देखा होगा कि 2 fields हैं, psychiatrist and psychologist. Psychiatrist treat the depression with drugs, while psychologists treat the depression with different therapies. ठीक है, with different sessions, different exercises, while psychiatrists treat depression with drugs. So what are the different drugs that can be used in depression is, number 1 is the, we start from this side, from the right side, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, they are also called SSRI. SSRI. ठीक है, SSRIs. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. The second one is the serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, and they are known as SNRIs. SNRIs. ठीक है, SSRIs or SNRIs. These abbreviations are very commonly used because they have a very long name. So SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SNRIs, heterocyclic antidepressants. Heterocyclic antidepressant, this group of drug has the drugs that have different structures. कोई monocyclic है, कोई tricyclic है, ठीक है. So they have a different structure. That's why they come under the heading of heterocyclic antidepressants. Then 5-HT2 antagonist. This group of drug block the serotonin receptors, tricyclic antidepressants, and MAO inhibitors. Tricyclic antidepressants and MAO inhibitors are the older antidepressant drugs. They have more adverse effect. That's why they are not used nowadays as a first-line drugs. SSRIs, SNRIs, even heterocyclic 5-HT2 receptor antagonists, these drugs can be used as a second generation or first preferred drugs for the treatment of depression. ठीक है, और first choice for depressed patients. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, heterocyclic, and 5-HT2 antagonist. You have to remember the classification and the examples of the drugs. Now we come to the name of the drugs in different groups. The first group is, as I told you, SSRIs. SSRIs. It has fluoxetine. This is a prototype drug. Fluoxetine, fluvoxamine, paroxetine. Try to pronounce with me. Citalopram, escitalopram, and sertraline. So we have this list of SSRIs: fluoxetine, fluvoxamine, paroxetine, citalopram, escitalopram, and sertraline. These are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Then SNRIs. SNRIs or serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. These are the drugs venlafaxine. These are the two drugs. Only two drugs is written here. Otherwise, it has a 2 to 3 drugs more. Venlafaxine and duloxetine. Then the third group is tricyclic antidepressants. Tricyclic antidepressants are amitriptyline. This is the oldest group of drug that was used for the treatment of depression. Amitriptyline, imipramine, desipramine, and nortriptyline. So these are the tricyclic antidepressant. I think you are familiar with this name, tricyclic antidepressants, because we have discussed in autonomic nervous system, because these drugs blocks the reuptake of norepinephrine. So tricyclic antidepressants. Okay, then we have 5-HT2 antagonist. As you know, the different neurotransmitters have different receptors. Like norepinephrine has alpha receptors, beta receptors. Acetylcholine has muscarinic receptors and nicotinic receptors, different types of receptors. Similarly, serotonin also have a different types of receptors. Okay, different types at a long list of receptors. So some receptors are called 5-HT2, 3, A, B, C, इस तरह इसकी पूरी list है. So this is a specific type of receptors, and activation of this receptor produces the depressing symptoms. Activation of this receptor producing the psychological symptoms. So blockage of this receptor produces the antidepressant effects. 5-HT2 antagonist, and these drugs are trazodone and nifazodone. Trazodone is actually used nowadays commonly, and trazodone की एक और specific बात ये है कि trazodone can induce sleep. So trazodone sometimes used as an hypnotic for the sleep induction without any depression. So trazodone, remember, these are differentiating points can ask in the MCQs. ठीक है? So what will be the secondary use of trazodone? So 5-HT2 antagonists are the trazodone and nifazodone. Then we come to the heterocyclic antidepressants. As I told you, it has different structure. Some drugs are having unicyclic, monocyclic, or some drugs have tetracyclics. That's why the scientists give the name of this group of drug is heterocyclic, any different cyclic structure. These drugs are the bupropion, mirtazapine, amoxapine, and miprotylene. ठीक है? Miprotylene, amoxapine, mirtazapine, and bupropion. These are the heterocyclic antidepressants. Then last one is the monoamine oxidase inhibitor. monoamine oxidase inhibitor. ठीक है, monoamine oxidase inhibitors. These drugs are the phenelzine, selagiline, and prenylcypromine. Phenelzine, selagiline, and prenylcypromine. It is very unlikely कि कोई आपसे पूरी क्लासिफिकेशन पूछे. यूजुअली एग्जाम में आपके एससीक्यूज में क्या पूछा जा सकता है कि राइट डाउन द 4 नेम्स ऑफ SSRIs, ठीक है, या इन लिस्ट ट्राइसाइक्लिक एंटीडिप्रेसेंट्स. इट इज वेरी अनलाइकली कि वो आपसे पूरी क्लासिफिकेशन पूछे बिकॉज इट हैज अ लॉन्ग लिस्ट ऑफ ड्रग्स. ठीक है, और आप लोगों का सिर्फ 3 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन होता है. तो यूजुअली ग्रुप्स में पूछा जाता है. और नाम याद रखने के लिए आपने SSRIs, tricyclic antidepressants, both are very important. You have to remember the name of these 2 groups at least. Otherwise you have to remember the name of all drugs because कुछ ना कुछ उनके differentiating points होंगे और आपके MCQs में different drugs के साथ आते हैं, तो आपने कोशिश करनी है इनको याद करने की. ठीक है, okay. Can you give me the answer of this question? Which of the following drugs belongs to SSRIs? Very good. कौन सी ड्रग है? सिर्फ एक ही रिस्पॉन्स. आई थिंक जो लेक्चर सुन रहे हैं वो बहुत कम लोग हैं, है ना. बाकी लोग सिर्फ ऑन करके उसको और इधर उधर हो गए. हाँ, सही है. 2 रिस्पॉन्स मुझे आए हैं, बाकियों को नहीं पता चल रहा कि विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग ड्रग बिलोंग टू SSRIs. ओके, सो फ्लोक्साटिन इज अ SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Selagiline कौन सी है? It is MAO inhibitor, monoamine oxidase inhibitor. Venlafaxine क्या है? This is SNRI, selective serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. Trazodone क्या है? 5-HT2 antagonist. And bupropion क्या है? Bupropion क्या है? Bupropion is heterocyclic. ठीक है, it is a heterocyclic antidepressant. और ब्यूप्रोपियोन की मैं आपको एक और बात बताऊं कि ब्यूप्रोपियोन कैन बी यूज्ड टू स्टॉप स्मोकिंग. ब्यूप्रोपियोन इज अ ड्रग दैट कैन बी यूज्ड टू स्टॉप स्मोकिंग. ठीक है, स्मोकिंग सिजेशन के लिए यूज होती है. और ट्रेज़ाडोन का मैंने आपको डिफरेंशिएटिंग पॉइंट बताया था कि इट कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर इंडक्शन ऑफ स्लीप इंडक्शन के लिए यूज हो सकती है. ठीक है. So now we come to the first group of drug, that is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. This is the first line drug and very important group of drug in the treatment of depressed patients. Okay, it was introduced in 1988 and before their introduction, tricyclic antidepressants and monoamine oxidase were used. But after their introduction, the use of both of those group was reduced because they have more adverse effect as compared to selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, as I told you, कौन कैसे हैं? Fluoxetine, fluvoxamine, sertraline, paroxetine, citalopram, escitalopram, etc. These are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And these drugs are quite safe and large doses of these drugs can be used without any problem. We can say it has a wide therapeutic window or large therapeutic index as compared to tricyclic antidepressants. As the name shows, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. As the name shows, these drugs produce their effect by selectively inhibiting the reuptake. Selectively inhibiting the reuptake of serotonin. ठीक है. अब आप जितने भी नाम हैं इसमें usually the name shows the mechanism of action. So अगर आपका mechanism आपसे पूछा जाता है और आपको classification याद है, तो you can easily write it down the mechanism just by using the common sense. Okay, they are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It means that these drugs selectively means that they have no effect on norepinephrine, they have no effect on dopamine or other neurotransmitter. They only inhibit the reuptake of serotonin. Okay, so this is the mechanism of action. So there is no need to remember the mechanism of action. And what will happen when there is decrease reuptake of serotonin? The concentration of serotonin in the synaptic cleft will be increased. The concentration of synaptic cleft will be increased. These are the specific transporters. ठीक है, यहाँ से जो है ना वो serotonin release हो रही है, serotonin release हो रही है, and these are the transporter specific जहाँ serotonin bind होगी. ठीक है, although serotonin also bind with the postsynaptic membrane. This is a postsynaptic membrane and has a serotonin receptors. Few serotonin bind amount of serotonin bind with the postsynaptic receptor and some amount bind with the transporters and go back into the nerve terminal and again store in the synaptic vesicle. This is normally happened, but with these drugs they block the transport of serotonin back into the nerve terminal, and now the remaining serotonin remains in the synaptic cleft for the longer period of time. Okay, remain here for the long period of time and produce the antidepressant effects. Clear hai? If you have any question, you can write it down in the chat box. If you have any question, any query, you can write it down in the chat box. Okay, clear hai? I think mechanism of action is clear now. This is also shown in this slide as well. Okay, these are the specific transporters that is present in the presynaptic membrane, और SSRIs वहाँ bind हो गई हैं and prevent कर रही हैं binding को serotonin की. And the concentration of serotonin you have seen here will be increased in the synaptic cleft and produce the further effect. Clear hai? Okay, but remember, all antidepressants requires more than 2 weeks to produce the improvement in the mood, improvement in the depressed mood. Okay, and maximum effect require 12 weeks. Maximum effects require 12 weeks. It is commonly asked in the in the Viva or in the SCQs. Okay, why antidepressant requires much time to relieve the symptoms? कि ड्रग्स जो हैं जब हम लेते हैं तो फौरन ही मोनोअमीन का लेवल इंक्रीज कर देती हैं, लेकिन उनको 2 हफ्ते लगते हैं अपना एंटी डिप्रेसेंट इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, और सम टाइम कुछ पेशेंट्स को 3 वीक्स 4 वीक्स और मैक्सिमम इफेक्ट्स आता है 3 मंथ्स में. यानी कि अगर आपने पेशेंट को दवाई देनी है, एंटी डिप्रेसेंट देने हैं, तो आपने उसको काउंसल करना है कि वो जो है उसको ड्रग को कंटिन्यूसली लेता है, क्योंकि होता ही है कि 1-2 दिन पेशेंट लेता है, 4 दिन लेता है, तो उसके बाद फिर वो छोड़ देता है कि जी मुझे कोई फर्क तो पड़ नहीं रहा इससे तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा, तो मैं क्यों लेता रहा हूँ. तो आपने जब इसको प्रिस्क्राइब करना है, एट दैट टाइम आपने उसको बताना है कि कम से कम 3 हफ्ते के बाद, 2-3 हफ्ते के बाद इसका रिजल्ट आना शुरू होगा अगर आप कंटिन्यूसली लेंगे तो. ठीक है, तो ये काउंसलिंग पेशेंट के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, क्योंकि डिप्रेस पेशेंट वैसे ही डिप्रेस होते हैं, सैड होते हैं, वो और उसको ले लेते हैं कि जी हमने तो ठीक होना ही नहीं है. So it is very important. So what will be the reason of this explanation कि why antidepressant requires 2 or more weeks to produce its effect? You have seen here, it has 2 reasons. It has 2 reasons. You can write it down. ठीक है, इसको नोट कर लें क्योंकि स्लाइड पे लिखा हुआ नहीं है. Number one, if you have seen here, this is the presynaptic membrane. This is the presynaptic membrane. This is the postsynaptic membrane. Okay, and these are the autoreceptors. जब हमने बात की थी नॉरएपिनेफ्रीन की, तो मैंने आपको बताया था कि these are the autoreceptors. ठीक है, autoreceptors. जब कोई भी ड्रग, कोई भी न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर रिलीज होता है तो वो पोस्ट साइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर्स के साथ बाइंड होता है और वो प्री साइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर्स के साथ भी बाइंड होता है जो उसकी सिक्रीशन को रेगुलेट करते हैं. ठीक है, प्री साइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर्स. प्री साइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर अगर तो सेरोटोनिन जो यहाँ से रिलीज हो रही है वो यहाँ पर बाइंड हो जाएगी तो हम इसको कहेंगे ऑटो रिसेप्टर्स, और अगर यहाँ पर बाइंड होने वाली सेरोटोनिन के बजाय नॉरएपिनेफ्रीन है तो हम इसको कहेंगे हेटेरो रिसेप्टर्स, यानी किसी और ड्रग के उसको किसी और न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर की रिलीज को ये रेगुलेट कर रही है. सो हियर when serotonin bind with these autoreceptors, continuous activation of this receptor causes the down regulation of these receptors. You have seen here, ठीक है, ऑटो रिसेप्टर्स आर डाउन रेगुलेटेड, यहाँ लिखा हुआ नजर आ रहा होगा आपको, ठीक है। क्या हुआ है कि कंटिन्यूअसली जब सेरोटोनिन बाइंड हुई है, सेरोटोनिन इज एगोनिस्ट, सो कंटिन्यूअस एक्टिवेशन की वजह से क्या होता है कि ये या तो रिसेप्टर डिसेंसिटाइज हो जाते हैं या नंबर ऑफ रिसेप्टर्स ऑन द सरफेस विल बी रिड्यूस, दैट इज कॉल्ड डाउन रेगुलेशन, दैट इज कॉल्ड डाउन रेगुलेशन। आप लोगों ने जनरल फार्माकोलॉजी में इसको डिटेल से किया था, ठीक है। सो what will happen after down regulation? There is no inhibitory impulse, there is no inhibitory there is no inhibition in the release of serotonin. आपको पता है ना ऑटो रिसेप्टर्स क्या करते हैं, ये क्या करते हैं कि जब यहाँ से बाइंड होता है तो ये सेरोटोनिन की रिलीज को कम कर देता है नॉर्मली। तो जब कंटिन्यूअस एक्टिवेशन होगी और सेरोटोनिन जो है वो अब रिसेप्टर यहाँ पर प्रेजेंट नहीं है, बाइंड नहीं हो सकती सेरोटोनिन, तो क्या होगा कि जो नेगेटिव फीडबैक है वो खत्म हो गया है। अब नेगेटिव फीडबैक खत्म हो गया है तो मोर सेरोटोनिन इज रिलीज टू इन द साइनेप्टिक क्लेफ्ट। So number one reason is this, okay, down regulation of autoreceptors requires 2 weeks, ठीक है। ये जो प्रोसेस होता है डाउन रेगुलेशन का, इट रिक्वायर्स 2 or more weeks, ठीक है। तो एक तो एक्सप्लेनेशन ये है कि क्यों इनका इफेक्ट 2 हफ्ते के बाद होता है। नंबर 2 आप लोग लिख लें, नंबर 2 is the synthesis of BDNF, BDNF brain derived neurotropic factor, the synthesis of BDNF require 2 or more weeks, ठीक है। जब हम एंटी डिप्रेसेंट स्टार्ट करते हैं तो BDNF की सिंथेसिस के लिए 2 या उससे ज्यादा हफ्ते चाहिए होते हैं। तो 2 रीजन है। नंबर 1, the down regulation of autoreceptors require 2 or more weeks. Number 2, the synthesis of BDNF require 2 or more weeks to produce the antidepressant effects. So these are the 2 reasons for the delayed effect of antidepressants. Clear? Now we come to the pharmacokinetic. All antidepressants are highly lipid soluble drugs. They are well absorbed, they are well distributed in all compartments of the body, and the absorption is not of these drugs is not affected with the food except sertraline. Except sertraline. Sertraline absorption will be increased with food, and it has extensive first pass effect, so it has low bioavailability. It has extensive first part effect, so has low bioavailability, so large amount of sertraline is required. Remember, all antidepressant usually causes insomnia. All antidepressants, SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, decreases the sleep. So these drugs should be taken early in the morning. These drugs has very long half-life. Especially fluoxetine. Fluoxetine is the main drug that has almost 8 days half-life. 8 days. इसकी normal half-life क्या है? 2.5 days. 2.5 days. 2.5 days is the half-life of fluoxetine. But when fluoxetine is metabolized into norfloxacin, then that active metabolite has half-life 3 times more than the fluoxetine. Okay, 3 times more than the fluoxetine. So fluoxetine usually give once a week. It is sufficient. All drugs mainly excreted by the kidney except sertraline and paroxetine that can be excreted in feces. Okay, look at this MCQ and tell me what is the correct answer. Which of the following drugs selectively inhibit the serotonin reuptake? Which answer is correct? Which answer is correct? Good. Fluvoxamine. Okay. Fluvoxamine. F से भी याद करो. Fluoxetine and fluvoxamine both are the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Bupropion is the heterocyclic. Mirtazapine is also heterocyclic. ठीक है. बार-बार मैं ड्रग्स इसलिए रिपीट कर रही हूँ कि ताकि आपको कुछ याद हो जाए. Venlafaxine. बेटा venlafaxine is a selective serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake. ये नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन के रीअपटेक को भी इनहिबिट करती है. सो इसको अगर हम कभी पूछा जाएगा कि सिलेक्टिवली इनहिबिट द सेरोटोनिन रीअपटेक, तो उसका करेक्ट आंसर होगा फ्लोवोक्सामिन. ठीक है, वेनलाफ्लेक्सिन जो है वो नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन के भी रीअपटेक को इनहिबिट करती है. सो ये उस हेडिंग में नहीं आएगी कि जो ड्रग्स सिलेक्टिवली ब्लॉक करती हैं सेरोटोनिन को. क्लियर? Now we come to the clinical uses. These drugs can be used in major depressive disorders and some anxiety disorders like panic disorders, generalized anxiety disorders. As I told you in the when we discussed the anxiolytic, that in acute anxiety you can give the sedative and hypnotics, but if the patient require chronic treatment or long-term treatment, then the antidepressant will be preferred. क्यों? Because sedative and hypnotic causes tolerance and physical dependence. ठीक है, tolerance and physical dependence, जिसकी वजह से chronic use में हम antidepressants को use करते हैं. So you have seen here multiple anxiety disorders. ठीक है, panic disorders, generalized anxiety disorders, social anxiety disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders. This is new, premenstrual dysphoric disorders. These disorders is common in female of childbearing age, and 5% females में होता है कि during the luteal phase, during the start of before the start of the menstrual cycle, some females or some girls may have irritability in their mood, depressed mood, feeling of sadness, etc. ठीक है, that is called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and fluoxetine and sertraline is specifically used in this disorder. Fluoxetine and sertraline is specifically used in this disorder. Clear? Then bulimia nervosa, this term is also new for you. This is the eating disorder. Bulimia nervosa and anorexia nervosa is a eating disorder. Bulimia nervosa में क्या होता है कि patient excessive खाता है, बहुत ज्यादा खाता है. ठीक है, और उसको या तो वॉमिट कर देता है या लैक्सेटिव यूज करके उसको आउट कर देता है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फीसिस. क्लियर? बुलिमिया नर्वोसा. और इस डिसऑर्डर में भी फ्लोक्सेटिन इज अ प्रेफर्ड ड्रग. ठीक है, फ्लोक्सेटिन. एग्जांपल्स आपने याद रखनी है ड्रग्स की, बिकॉज सम टाइम इट कैन आस्क इन द एमसीक्यूज के व्हिच एसएसआरआई इज प्रेफर्ड इन बुलिमिया नर्वोसा, or which drug is used in premenstrual dysphoric disorders. So this is a list of disorders. You will read this chapter from the Lipin Cord. ठीक है, Lipin Cord में बहुत अच्छा लिखा हुआ है, आप वहाँ से पढ़ोगे उसको, और along with this lecture note आप ले लिया करो साथ, तो उसके साथ आप उसमें से पढ़ोगे तो आपके लिए sufficient होगा. Okay, now we come to the adverse effect. Initially, in the initial period of treatment, patient may have some gastrointestinal adverse effect like nausea, vomiting, GI upset, and diarrhea. These adverse effect is because of increased serotonin level in the GIT. Increased level of serotonin in the GIT may cause nausea, vomiting, GI upset, and diarrhea. But these adverse effect can be subside after 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, after starting the drug. 1 or 2 weeks after starting the drugs, these adverse effect can be subside. Patient may have headache, sleep disturbance. Almost all drugs causes insomnia, but paroxetine can cause hypersomnia or increased sleep. Okay, increased sleep. So the paroxetine should be given at the bedtime. Sexual disorder is very common because of increased serotonin level in the spinal cord. Sexual dysfunction may be common in the patients, and if anybody avoid this sexual dysfunction, तो वो switch off कर ले drug को. किसी और drug जो I have told you the heterocyclic जो मैंने आपको बताई थी, ये उसको atypical antidepressants भी कहते हैं. Bupropion, mirtazapine, these drugs has no sexual dysfunction. So these drugs can be used in patient having a trouble in this having this problem. Then the patient may have discontinuation syndrome. Discontinuation syndrome, these drugs should be tapered off slowly. These drugs also tapered off slowly. ठीक है, because neurotransmitter, जो भी ड्रग्स हमारी नॉर्मल फिजियोलॉजी को डिस्टर्ब करती हैं, तो वो क्या होता है कि बॉडी उस पर डिपेंड करना शुरू कर देती है. ठीक है, और न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर अगर हम एकदम बंद कर देंगे तो जो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर का लेवल है वो ड्रॉप कर जाएगा तो पेशेंट में हैव symptoms like headache, irritability, nervousness and paresthesia. So it is advisable कि these drugs should be tapered off slowly tapered off करेंगे तो क्या होगा कि हमारी जो नॉर्मल फिजियोलॉजी है, नॉर्मल लेवल ऑफ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है, वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता नॉर्मलाइज होता जाएगा कि हम ड्रग का लेवल आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कम करेंगे. सो डिसकंटिन्यूएशन सिंड्रोम इज एन एडवर्स इफेक्ट ऑफ एंटीडिप्रेसेंट्स. Weight gain can occur with paroxetine. These drugs can cause suicidal thought, can increase the suicidal thoughts, especially in young adults. In young adults up to 25 years of age. 25 साल तक की उम्र के बच्चों में ये may increase suicidal thoughts. So you should be vigilant. जो भी आपके जो फैमिली जो भी depressed patient के family friends हो, फैमिली हो या फ्रेंड्स हो, तो वो उनको कॉन्शियस होना चाहिए कि पेशेंट में कोई ऐसे सिम्टम्स तो नहीं आ रहे हैं कि इसके तो सुसाइडल थॉट्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं. ठीक है, बिकॉज दीज ड्रग्स कैन इंक्रीज द सुसाइडल थॉट्स इन यंग एडल्ट्स at the up to the age of 25 years. Clear? Drug interactions. These drugs are also important in drug interactions के लिए. So fluoxetine, paroxetines are the potent CYP2D6. All these drugs are metabolized by cytochrome P450 system. So fluoxetine and paroxetine inhibit the cytochrome P450 system, especially this enzyme CYP2D6. So it can increase the level of the drug that is metabolized by this enzyme. For example, tricyclic antidepressants. Okay, tricyclic antidepressants metabolized by this enzyme. So if fluoxetine and paroxetine given with this tricyclic antidepressant, what will happen? They will increase the level of tricyclic antidepressants. Okay. Then fluvoxamine. Fluvoxamine inhibit the CYP3A4. These are the two important enzymes that is involved in the metabolism of number of drugs. ठीक है, जो जितनी भी ज्यादा drugs हैं, I think जो 70-80% drugs हैं वो इन्हीं दो enzyme से metabolize होती हैं. So fluvoxamine inhibit the CYP3A4 and inhibit and this enzyme involved in the metabolism of diltiazem as well. These are the few examples. ये मैंने एक के दो example आपको दिए. Otherwise, there is a list of drug that is metabolized by these enzymes, and their metabolism can be affected by fluvoxamine, fluoxetine, and paroxetine. So, drug history for the patient is very important. कि कौन सी drug patient ले रहे हैं. SSRIs should not be given with MAO, monoamine oxidase inhibitor, because of the risk of serotonin syndrome. Serotonin syndrome क्या है? You have to remember this syndrome, serotonin syndrome. कि जो भी serotonergic drugs हैं, they can cause serotonin syndrome. ठीक है, serotonin syndrome में क्या होता है? Each patient may have hyperthermia, body temperature increase हो जाता है, patient may have muscle rigidity, sweating, ठीक है, sweating, mental status changes, ठीक है, disturbance in blood pressure, in the heart rate, in the respiratory rate, etc. डायाफ्लोरोसिस का मतलब है, ये जो आपको लिखा हुआ नजर आ रहा है, डायाफ्लोरोसिस का मतलब है sweating, ठीक है, sweating on the forehead. So serotonin syndrome can be life-threatening and it should be treated symptomatically. ठीक है. This is a syndrome and this occur if SSRIs, if fluoxetine is used with selagelene. ठीक है, जो भी serotonergic drugs हैं, अगर उनके साथ उसको यूज किया जाएगा, क्यों ये होता है? बिकॉज मोनोअमीन ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर्स क्या करते हैं? इनहिबिट करते हैं मेटाबॉलिज्म को सेरोटोनिन का. सो एक तरफ तो आप उसका रीअपटेक को भी इनहिबिट कर रहे हैं और उसकी कंसंट्रेशन को इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं. सेकेंडली आप उसका मेटाबॉलिज्म को भी इनहिबिट कर देंगे तो क्या होगा कि फर्दर इंक्रीज हो जाएगी सेरोटोनिन कंसंट्रेशन. And this further increase may lead to serotonin syndrome. So how we can prevent serotonin syndrome? This is a question and it can be asked in the SCQ, MCQs or even SCQs. तो हम कैसे prevent कर सकते हैं? By giving the washout period. अगर for example एक patient को आपने SSRIs दी है और उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा उससे और आप चाह रहे हो उसको मोनोमीन ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर देना, तो आप क्या करोगे? You have to give 2 to 4 week washout period. यानी पहले आप स्टॉप करोगे SSRIs को, 2 weeks का पीरियड दोगे, गैप पीरियड दोगे जिसमें कोई ड्रग नहीं दोगे, और 2 हफ्तों के बाद फिर आप उसको अगली ड्रग स्टार्ट करोगे। क्यों इस तरह से है? बिकॉज these drugs has very long half life and they may accumulate in our body, and the effect persist for two weeks approximately, and 4 weeks for fluoxetine, 4 weeks for fluoxetine। अगर पेशेंट फ्लॉक्साटिन ले रहा है तो आपने उसको 4 weeks वॉश आउट पीरियड देना है, क्योंकि फ्लॉक्साटिन का आपने देखी थी हाफ लाइफ कितनी थी, उसकी हाफ लाइफ थी 7 to 8 days, ठीक है। सो बिकॉज इट हैज वेरी लॉन्ग हाफ लाइफ, सो उतना ही उसको टाइम चाहिए होगा बॉडी से एक्सक्रीट आउट होने के लिए। दैट्स व्हाई you have to give 2 to 4 week wash out period before starting other group, ठीक है। I think this group we will discuss tomorrow. Any question related to topic you can ask, anything that is not clear। हमने अब तक क्या पढ़ा है? डिप्रेशन की इंट्रोडक्शन को छोड़ के वी हैव 6 ग्रुप्स ऑफ एंटी डिप्रेसेंट्स। कौन कौन से थे? SSRIs, SNRIs, हेट्रोसाइक्लिक, 5-HT2 एंटागोनिस्ट, उसके बाद कौन सा था? ट्राइसाइक्लिक एंटी डिप्रेसेंट्स, देन मोनोअमीन ऑक्सीडेज इनहिबिटर्स। बेटा डिलेड इफेक्ट क्यों होता है? डिलेड इफेक्ट इज बिकॉज ऑफ सिंथेसिस ऑफ BDNF, brain derived neurotropic factor require 2 or more weeks, number 1, ठीक है। आफ्टर स्टार्टिंग द ट्रीटमेंट, जब आपने ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट की है, स्टार्ट करने के बाद आप 2 से 4 हफ्ते लगते हैं BDNF को सिंथेसाइज होने में, नंबर 1, ठीक है। BDNF ये मैंने बताया था ना आपको, ब्रेन ड्राइव्ड न्यूरोट्रॉपिक फैक्टर, ठीक है, ब्रेन ड्राइव्ड न्यूरोट्रॉपिक फैक्टर, नंबर 1। नंबर 2 था कि जो ऑटो रिसेप्टर्स होते हैं, जो यहाँ पर होते हैं, कंटिन्यूअस एक्टिवेशन ऑफ ऑटो रिसेप्टर कॉजेज डाउन रेगुलेशन। अगर डाउन रेगुलेशन हो जाती है रिसेप्टर्स की तो कोई इनहिबिटरी इफेक्ट नहीं रहता है सेरोटोनिन की रिलीज पे, एंड मोर सेरोटोनिन इज रिलीज फ्रॉम द नर्व टर्मिनल। So 2 or more weeks are required to down regulate the autoreceptors। आप ये लाइनें बेशक लिख लो, नोट डाउन कर लो इसको कि 2 or more weeks are required to down regulate autoreceptors, and after down regulation of these receptors, ये आपके लिपिन कॉर्ड में लिखा हुआ है ये वाला रीजन। BDNF का शायद नहीं लिखा हुआ, लेकिन आपने BDNF का भी लिखना है सेकंड रीजन, ठीक है। अच्छा, उसामा आप पूछ रहे हो, क्लियर है ये आपको कि नंबर 1 BDNF synthesis require 2 or more week, and secondly autoreceptor down regulation require 2 or more weeks। That's why इसका रिसेप्टर का इफेक्ट डिलेड होता है। ग्लूटामेट का क्या इफेक्ट है बेटा? ग्लूटामेट के बारे में ना अभी न्यू रिसर्च है कि ग्लूटामेट प्ले अ रोल इन द पैथोफिजियोलॉजी ऑफ डिप्रेशन, ठीक है। अब ग्लूटामेट का मैं आपको क्या बताऊं, आपको मैं बताऊं कि जितने भी आप लोग बाहर के खाने खाते हो, जितने भी आप लोग बाहर होटलिंग करते हो, बर्गर खाते हो, चिप्स खाते हो, जो भी चीज खाते हो, उन सब में मोनोसोडियम ग्लूटामेट होता है। आपने एक नाम सुना होगा, MSD, ठीक है ना, मोनोसोडियम ग्लूटामेट। प्रीवियसली हम इसको कहते थे चाइनीज सॉल्ट। चाइनीज सॉल्ट जो है वो टेस्ट को एनहेंस करने के लिए, एपिटाइट को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए डाला जाता है, ठीक है। और ये हर बाहर के खाने के अंदर आपके MSD होता है। ग्लूटामेट ये क्या करता है? एक्साइटेटरी न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है, ठीक है। इसकी ओवर एक्टिविटी की वजह से भी डिप्रेशन होता है, इसकी ओवर एक्टिविटी की वजह से भी डिप्रेशन होता है। तो अब जो रिसर्च हो रही है उसके देख रहे हैं कि जो ग्लूटामेट को इनहिबिट करती हैं या जो ग्लूटामेट को ड्रग्स ब्लॉक करेंगी उनको किया जाए, इन्वेंट किया जाए, ठीक है, ताकि एक और वे हो ट्रीट करने का डिप्रेस पेशेंट्स। हो सकता है कि इसका इफेक्ट और ज्यादा नेक्स्ट जो भी रिसर्चेज हो रही हो उसमें इसका इफेक्ट और ज्यादा प्रोमिनेंट हो जाए, क्लियर है। सो ग्लूटामेट जो है वो एक न्यू रिसर्च है, न्यू उसमें है कि इसकी ओवर एक्टिविटी की वजह से भी जो है वो डिप्रेशन होता है, क्लियर। any other question, anything else? Okay, now the remaining portion of this lecture we will discuss tomorrow, and you have to remember the classification, you have to remember the SSRIs। I will ask first and then I will start the lecture, clear है, ठीक है। आप लोगों ने पढ़कर आना है और आप लोगों से मैं पूछूंगी और उसके बाद फिर हम लेक्चर स्टार्ट करेंगे। थैंक यू।